So now that I made a video where I went really deep with how it is to have your Mercury sign in Scorpio. So I wanted to do a longer video where I go through the other signs, just to, you know, the fast facts about how you are when you have your Mercury in other signs. So if this is something that you guys really like, then I will make a complete series about it and talk more detailed about how do you tick. What does it make you? How is your personality? Some things in your life that you maybe have to work more with. Another thing I really want to go more into details about is the North and South node in our zodiac chart, because that's about our past and about our future. So, you know, what did we do in our past life that we have to learn in this life, because it's actually pretty interesting. It really gives an insight about what it is that you need to work on, especially with karma and stuff like that. So, you know, how easy is it for you to manifest what you really want? What is it that you have to learn before you can, I don't know, become a millionaire? Because we all want to become a millionaire. That's what I am going to go into details with. Maybe not the North and South node today, but the Mercury. So what your Mercury sign is, it's all about communication. So it's about how you express yourself. It's the signs that rules your mind. It's your ideas, your memory, your sarcasm, your sense of humor, and it's all about your imagination. So the Mercury is all about like your mind, your mentality. So it's about how you communicate with other people, how you communicate with yourself, how you treat yourself, how you really, you know, it's the deep you. It's all about the ideas you have, your memory. I am going to talk a little bit about, you know, the typical mindset of like air signs, earth signs, or fire signs. So if you have air sign in Mercury, you are really a chatterbox most of the time. You're really a talker. You love to talk. But you are also really good at perfecting the silence treatment. So if someone, you know, hurt you, you're really gotta, you know, silence them down and be like, no. If you have a water sign Mercury, which I have because I am a Scorpio, we ask a lot of questions. Yeah, we are detectives. We are. In love, life, and in real and in friends, you know, just really, you know, we are detectives. We ask a lot of questions. We go deep. We go to the bottom of a question or of a case. We just like, we really want to, you know, solve the whatever it is. And we are very sensitive. We're very intuitive, and we are quiet. You know, we have to, you know, to see, okay, can I trust this person? We are not opening up to people just easily. We don't. We really don't. We really want to be sure that we can trust that person before we tell the, I don't know, the deep secret. So if you know a person who has Scorpio in Mercury and they told you their deepest secret, you really, you know, they really trust you. So be proud of that. If you have a fire sign in Mercury, they are mostly very sarcastic, very loud. They're the people yelling up and they're like everywhere. You know, Leos. And they love light-hearted conversations. And they really hate small talk. Don't small talk to a fire sign in Scorpio, because, or to a fire sign in the Mercury, because they want to go deep. They don't want to small talk with you. I actually know someone who's like that. Yeah. And the last but not least is the earth sign. So if you have the earth sign in a Mercury, you're someone who rarely change your mind about things. And you're really not afraid to argue. that is really a hard word for me to say today. I don't know why. Well, you earth signs are, you know, you're good at that, you know. Yeah, and that's true. Also, if you just are Taurus or something like that in your sun sign, that hits perfectly. That's spot on. But then again, you get easily overwhelmed when you are in arguments. So it's like, you know, you really like to you know, to state your side of things, but if it's getting heated up in an argument, it's being like you don't want to do that. So let's start with Mercury in Aries. It's a very, very, very strong sign to have in a Mercury because you are very aggressive. Some people can think that you are too aggressive. So if you want to meet people, you are sometimes like, hello, my name is I don't know, Andrew, and I want to be a friend. So you're really like spot on. You're like pushing your way through the world and like so if you have Aries in your Mercury, you tend to be witty, outspoken and original. So it's only one of you. You are really like, you know, like Superman. I don't know why I feel like Superman. Like, but you are a winner. You really want to win the race. You don't want anyone to talk shit about you, and you kick people out who do. There is a sharp edge to your conversation with people, and you really most of the time really have like a ironic and sarcastic tone when you speak with people. So you tend to bite, you know, like you're biting at people, but in a funny way. So you know, when you talk, it's like biting but funny, biting but funny, sarcasm but funny, you know. Aries, you tend to use highly expressive language, and you sometimes really spit out a lot of slang when you speak. So when you have a speech, you really, you know, you slang it up. Like, you are really original. You do, you know, you don't want to be like anyone else, so you do it your style, like using that slang, yo. I guess you can really feel that I'm not an Aries. I don't have Aries in my Mercury because I don't do that. You exaggerate things. People who have Aries in the Mercury, actually, they really tend to be like eager to make you or the friends or family do things for them. They don't actually want to do things. And one particular person that comes to my mind is Zach Bagans, because he always sends other people into the darkness. So Zach probably has Aries and Mercury, or he's just a very, very Aries-like person. So you really want things to go your way, you know. No other way is good enough, and you don't want to hear people's opinion about things. It's your way or the highway. Most people with Aries in their Mercury are very, very good speakers and very good writers. Most of the people who do the ghostwriting for the president or stuff like that, they actually have the Aries somewhere in their chart. So if you have Aries in Mercury, you should think about being a writer or a speaker, because people listen to you. They look up to you and be like, wow, damn, that person really know what he's talking about. It's also the people that you see at cocktails parties who really chatty up with other people. So you love to, you know, you love to be the center of attention. You do. You love to talk with people. You love to show how good a speaker you are. And you are a good speaker, so you should do that. People are fascinated about how you speak and how you write. One of the problems with people who have Aries in Mercury is that you are impulsive. And you're really not good at putting too much planning into action. You just want to get it done. You just want to, you know, you don't think about it like, poof, it's gonna go good. Of course it's gonna go good. You don't plan it, you just do it. However, you are very, 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 very blessed with luck. So like, your first decision of what you want to do always tends to be the right one. So you have your intuitive mind as well. You're a lucky people. Another thing about if you have Aries in Mercury is that a lot of you people actually tend to suffer from headaches, especially when you are in noisy atmospheres. You don't like noise. If there's too much noise, you get a headache and you're like, ah. So let's move on to people who have Mercury in Taurus. So Mercury in Taurus people, you never embark on a project without being 100% sure, or without being very, very, very prepared. You want to be prepared. You don't go out to a party before you know what you need to have on, which shoes, how many people are going to be there, what are they going to eat, you know, what can I eat, what is the drinks. You want to know everything. 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 You really tend to have a very practical, stable, constructive mind. A bad thing, I wouldn't say bad thing, but one thing about Taurus people, especially when you have Mercury in Taurus, is that you find that your opinions and ideas are the best one. They are the most wisest one, the best, the only ones, and you don't care about what other people's opinion of, or what they think. Like, what you think is the best. If you say we have to go to drive that way, that is the only way for you. You don't care about if someone is saying, oh, you're gonna, you know, we can save 5 minutes if we take that way. So I'm like, no, Taurus. So you actually just have little use for other people's opinion. And that's true. I will say yes, Taurus people, yeah. You really tend to know things better, which is, for me, now I have so much Scorpio, it's like, sorry. See, I use sarcasm again. You're one of the signs who actually really have an excellent memory. You are a very good observer, so you are, you know, you can see if there's something wrong with people, or if there's something wrong in generally. You observe everything. If it's a party, if it's something, a TV program, you see, you really observe, you take everything in, everything. But because you are not really good at changing your mind, like I know everything better, you sometimes miss important things, and you sometimes are very good at piss people off. Also, when you don't see it, because you don't see it, like, again, you are the wisest person on this planet. Why even listen to what someone else has to say? Another thing you also tend to is to repeat yourself, which is also true. I have a friend who does that a lot. Even though I heard that story, or I heard that whatever happens a long time ago, or more than one time, you tend to repeat it again. Like, oh, okay, well, you told me that, but let's take it again. And I think it's all actually because you really want to state yourself. You really want to, like, again, the wise thing. You really want to make sure that people know. And sometimes you know, tell it over and over again in different kind of terms. So you really want to make sure that people don't forget the point of what you try to say, or what you know, how you want people to see you. So that's also why you tend to repeat yourself in some things. All true that you are very sociable or very attractive, and you have a certain idea about your manners, how you should present yourself. You are really a bit shy to strangers. You like, you know, yeah, you are a little shy one if you don't know people. You actually feel most yourself and more comfortable at home, snuffled in your blanket with a book. That's, you know, that's where you feel more comfortable. You are a home person. You tend to read a great deal, but you learn more by what you experience. So it's not easy for you to learn from a book, but sometimes it's easier for you if you experience things, then you learn, if that makes sense. Especially when it comes to, like, the big things in life, like like, you know, how is that work, you tend to have a lot of different work jobs throughout your life, because like you don't really know what you want to do, and you don't learn by reading in a book about how is it to be a lawyer. You really have to go, I don't know, study someone who is a lawyer, talk with someone who is a lawyer, or try to be a, I don't know, what you call that, secretary by a lawyer. That's how you learn. You are actually really good at handling money situations, but again, it does depend on where your sun sign is, because you do possess an eye for both value and beauty. Most of people with Mercury and Taurus are actually pretty good, like the antique dealers. So if you are into antiques, you should really try to be an antique dealer, because that's something that you are very, really, really good at. You can put a price on any antique item. So let's go to Mercury and Gemini. If you have Mercury in Gemini, it's really hard to pin you down, especially in love. And I think that's just a Gemini thing. Like, you know, if you are not, you know, you're not the sign who is getting married in Vegas. You really have to think about it. You don't want to, you know, you want to be free. You want to do whatever you want. You don't want people to hold you tight. You tend to have a quicksilver duality mind. You know, like a cowboy, like a cowboy, like, you know, like really, like you shoot with silver. Another thing is that you tend to change your opinion very quickly, depending on the news or depending on what people think. You also tend to have a lot of projects. Like, you can't focus on one thing. Normally have more than one job and projects in your life. You are good runners, and you're really quick at thinking. So if someone comes to you with a problem, you are like, that's it. You're really interested in the world at large. You're really, really, like, you know, worldly interested in culture and, like, you know, like how do they do things in Africa? How do they do things in England? Like, you're really, really interested in that. Another thing is that you mostly live on a mental plan. And you really, really love to get facts about things and information. So, you know, you really want to, you know, you want to know things. You don't, if people say that, oh, this water is better for you, you want to have facts. Why is this water better? Like, why do you drink this, I don't know, Fiji water? Like, tell me, what is that's in it? You want to know. You're really good at other languages. You learn quickly. You're good at math, and you love to read. You read, study, travel, and you love to talk to new people. That's, you know, you're a very social person. You're really, and you're really good at asking people you meet about, like, how's your life? What do you do? You know, and if they say, oh, I do this, you want to see the work. You know, you're very, very interested in people. That's really what I love about Gemini in general, that you are really, like, you know, you want to know about what people do. You really care. You want to see their work. You don't just ask to ask. You know, you go deep, and you really care about what other people think about things. But because that you are someone who have the knowledge about a lot of things, you tend to be a little superficial, tiny bit. And you are a little bit like Scorpio, because you tend to know a little bit about everything. But then again, sometimes not a lot about anything. So it's a, you know, it's a yin yang thing, I guess, with you Geminis. But you are really good at like hiding that. Like, you know, you give a marvelous impression about people who see you. If people see you, they are mostly like, wow, they know. They really, really know about this. Like, you know, you're fascinating. You're fascinating because we really feel like you know. Like, you're wise. You're like a wise man, wise woman, you know. We tend to come to you guys when we have problems, because we're like, they know. Of course they know, you know. And you're good at, you know, pretending that you do, even though that you maybe not know everything. There is sometimes a little lack of order in your life, because that you, again, like, you're everywhere. You're like blah, blah, blah. So you sometimes lack order. You would make a very good, like, political debate person, like, you're really good at that. Like, speaker, again, like the Taurus people, you're really good at speaking. Or was it Aries? It's Aries. It was Aries, right? I think it was Aries. But you're good at speaking. You're really good at public speaking. You could also be an actor. That is also in Gemini's card. And you always have a lot of good friends around you because of your intelligence and your very good sense of humor. So people really love to be around you because you have an amazing sense of humor. And I can say yes to that, because I know a Gemini guy, and he just have the best sense of humor. And everything that's in this Mercury and Gemini, that's him. So actually, a lot of people who is like the TV hosts and interviewer, most of them have Mercury and Gemini. So if you have that, you should actually, be an interviewer or like host a TV show or something like that. Casting show. Then let's go to Mercury in Cancer. You are one of the more sensitive people out there. Like, you're very sensitive to what people say. You're like, people shouldn't go over to you and say that, oh, those jeans are not good for you, honey, because then you would break down. You would break down. You would lock yourself in your room or your house and not come out for at least a year. Never wear those pants again. Never wear those jeans. Never wear jeans at all again. So you're just, you're very sensitive what people say to you. Very sensitive. So that's some of the things that you sometimes have to work with. That us Scorpios who has a sarcastic mind, we trick you. We do. You really have almost sixth sense intuition, so you really pick up on everything. You pick up on people's emotions, you pick up a lot about the spiritual. I know that I have Cancer in my... oh, I can't remember. Is it the 11th house or something like that? So, I have the same. I have the same that, I pick up on, like, the spiritual, like, like the empath. You're really empathic. If you see a movie where someone cry, you cry. If someone is sad, you are sad. Sensitive people. You have to think that if we had to depend on only what our eyes would see, we would see very little. So it's all about using, you want people to use other senses, like, yeah. Like, you're deep thinker. And you are very, like, what you call that animal that changes. The camel, you know what I mean? You are like that, you adapt to where you are and to the people you are together with. So sometimes you're good at, when you're together with people who are, who are depressed and sad, you're good at, being depressed and sad together with them. Or if people are happy, you do the same. Also, if you are in other countries, if you're in Spain or something like that, you're good at taking in that and, like a judge, like, what do you call that? Adapt that, You're very good at that. But again, it doesn't mean that you don't cling to your, to your own ideas and to how you want to be. But, you're good at taking other people's, like, ideas and stuff like that. One thing is that you are a bit narrow-minded about things sometimes. But again, people would have to be a psychic, to really see that in you, because it's something that you really hide. But you are a little bit narrow-minded. But you are always charming, you're very social charming. Always, like, you can really... you can really adapt to the people you are around. So if you have to be charming, you can be charming. You're really fond in discussing large events, in terms of your feelings. You're one of the signs that are very, very gifted with a powerful imagination. You have a sense of poetry in you. It's like very flowy, and you really have a fine memory. You're really successful in scholar and school things, like you could be an amazing teacher, especially historical teachers, and again writers. And you are most likely to actually do a big profit in a real estate. A very interesting thing about people who has Mercury in Cancer is that you may inherit money from the maternal side of your family. Another thing is that you sometimes have a lot of phobias for weird things, especially fear of flying. So if you have fear of flying, you might have Mercury in Cancer. Let's go over to Mercury in Leo. Leos, you are leaders. You really have a big skill in leading people in you know, any way. Like if it's like if you're going on a hike, or if it's just the bigger, like, you know, whatever it is. If it's you're gonna be a boss of whatever it is, you're good at leading people. Another thing is that you're really good at dealing people. You're really good at handling people. You're good at organizing things, like organizer, leader. Yeah, that's Leo. You're just you know how to direct and to manage and to handle things, and you are very much in control with everything you do. But you are boastful and arrogant. That is true about Leos. You are. But sometimes, you know, it's in a sweet way. It's not like sometimes you don't know it, but you know, you can be a little arrogant and bombastic. And if things don't go your way, you light up for the fire. You're very fiery. You're like, you know, things have to go your way. Otherwise, no. You kill people with your eyes. But basically, you're just, you know, you have a kind heart and you're just helping people. You're amazing, you know. I am a Leo rising, so don't come at me, because I know how it is to be fiery and to want things your way. But you have a sunny, light-hearted heart. You are one of the signs that people are most likely to forgive. People easily forgive you if you did something wrong. It's like, oh, it's okay, Leo, you're so sweet. You are that kind of person that you most likely want to play than work. You just, you know, whatever work you do, you want to have fun. You want to, you know, but you're also very determined to whatever you do. But again, it has to be fun for you, otherwise it's so you have this success thing. If whatever you do is fun, you will receive success in it. You are someone who is really in love with the theater, like, you know, like plays, like acting. You love to act, you love to watch people act, you love to go to like a theater. Theater, like, you know, the art of performing is an art for you. It's like something that's really like artistic. It's running in your blood to be very to perform or to act or to sing. It's most actors actually have a lot of Leo rising or sun, or you know, if you have Leo in your chart, you are most likely to have this skill of becoming an actor. And you are most happy when you're on display. If people look at you, you are happy. Like, you know, YouTubers. If you do YouTube, you love it. You know, you want to be seen. You want to, you know, that makes you happy when people see you. You're really attracted to everything that's creative. Flowers, like, you know, you do everything yourself. Like, from making your own clothes, or cooking, or I don't know. As long as you can be creative, it's like blooming you. So a Leo, in every kind of way in the chart, you have to be creative. Then we have Mercury in Virgo. So this position in Mercury, a very fine analytical quality to your mind. You like to deal in facts. You analyze and you want facts on things. You love that. So before you make up your mind to anything, you really must know every fact in the question, and you really want to have all the information available in order to really analyze it. And once you formed a theory, you're really convinced that that is the truth. So whatever facts you have, you really expect it to be reality. So your ideas, you really like, this is reality. This is like, if you have all your facts right, it's you believe it in, you believe so much in it that it's reality for you. So you're really some of this, you're really a person, you are not good at the vice versa thing. You analyze and you want to have facts. You really don't like people who are sloppy in their thinking, like people who are slow. You don't like that. You want to be like, come on. Another thing that's a little tricky with you, that you don't understand people who fail. You don't understand if people, have let their dreams down or anything like that. You don't understand it. You're like, oh my god. You're good at detaching yourself from emotions, which makes you a good scientist, researcher or teacher, or a reporter. You are very quick at learning, and you are really good at memorizing long pages of material. A fault is your eagerness to sometimes to take on too much work, or too many projects. So you sometimes tend to weigh yourself down. And that sometimes plays out that you become nervous and hypercritical. So yeah. So as Mercury in Virgo, you have a super bee talent for all that's creative craft. So like tattooing, you're good at tattooing, you're good at drawing, which is true. I actually know two twins, and I'm gonna put their Instagram down below so you can check them out, because they're twins and they are Virgo. I don't know if they have Mercury in Virgo, but they are Virgo people. And again, Mercury in Virgo is also how a Sun Virgo is. Then we have Mercury in Libra. I am a Libra sun, so some of those things that comes up are probably also me. So Mercury is the sign of rationality and Libra is the sign of balance. We love balance and we love fairness. So if you have this Mercury position, you really love to make comparisons, to to listen to pros and cons. So you like to look at both sides of things, weighing all the facts. So what's really important for you is to make the perfect choice. And also, even though you actually have made up your mind, it's not definite. You can change it, because again, if something comes up, then you're like, oh well, I didn't think about that, let's do pros and cons again. You really have a fine intuition, and you often know things in a flash because your intuition kicks in. But then again, you overthink a lot. Yes. So one thing, you really have to learn to use your intuition better. Listen to your intuition. Listen to what is it. I mean, what was the first thought that I had about this thing. Don't be like, oh, is there more? Listen to what your intuition says. So another thing is that you sometimes have to be careful with listening to what other people say, because then again you're like, oh no, your attitude is very gentle, very sympathetic. You're very friendly, you're very polite, you are fond of socializing. We love to socialize. And yes, I actually do love to socialize too. And again, yes, it is probably because I am a Libra sun. So, we don't wish to stir up controversies. Oh no, never. No, oh never. In companies, and we're together with people. No. So in company, we will go along with other people's opinions. Yes. Yeah, because we don't want people to be like, why do you think like that? Then we're gonna be like, I think the same like you do. Yes. That's us. Also, even if your principles are, not the same, you will take on other people's opinion. Mercury in Mercury in people. Mercury in Libra people. We do best when we work with people. We are partnerships. You know, we do. You know, we also do best with a partner. You know, when we're in a relationship, we are actually the happiest. We are born to be by the side of someone who loves us, and that is sad. It's sad if you're single and you can't find the right guy. But we do best in partnerships. We are born to be in love relationships. We are born to be with the perfect match. We are especially successful if we team up with strong people that can direct us. You know, we should actually align ourselves with the dreamers. That's what we should do. Strong people, strong-minded people and dreamers. If we are left alone, we become lazy. Yep, we do. We are lazy people when we are left alone. When we are all by ourselves. Then there is the Mercury in Scorpio. But I do a separate video about that. So if you are a Mercury in Scorpio like moi, then you should go watch it. Because that's a little bit more detailed. This is just a quickie, like... Let's move on to Mercury in Sagittarius. If you have this position, you are quick, breezy, to the point. You very much prize freedom. Yeah. You prize freedom of expression. You cannot bear the thought of any censorship over what you have to say. Like, don't censor anyone. Don't beep out Sagittarius. Don't. You want to be heard, you want to be seen, you want to be like foo foo. If you want to say the F-bomb, the F word, you want to say it. You don't want anyone to beep it out. Your mind is sometimes restless, so you think a lot. You're like, you know, you never stop thinking. You think a lot. And you are that kind of person who always look for stimulation. Brain stimulation. You really tend to jump from project to project, so you have a lot of things to do. Like if you do one thing, you want to jump over to the other thing. Oh, ooh, then you want to jump over to that thing. Ooh, that's the thing that I did for 3 years ago. Maybe I should do that again. Travel is something that's really connected to you and to your work. So you love to travel, and you may even pendle. You may live far away. You may even live in I don't know, let's say Denmark, and you work overseas in UK. Yeah, Sagittarius. You are a person, you never stop learning. You love to learn and you never stop. It's in your blood. You love to learn, you want to learn, and it's just never ending. Like, really, it's a lifetime of education. Mercury in Sagittarius people love to read. You love to explore new ideas, new things, new foods, new countries, new people. You especially love to learn about new people, to cultures, like, you know, how are people from Denmark, how are people from Sweden, how are people from Africa or Russia. You love that. You love to learn about that. You are fast on your feet, so you are probably a fast walker. So for fitness, you love to run, you know, and you're really good at gasping over big projects and ideas. But you sometimes tend to fail in certain projects because of your concentration. So keep that in mind. If you're not concentrated enough, you fail in things, in projects, and whatever you want to do. That's also why you have so many projects in your mind, like everywhere. You're one of those people that you build a house, you don't finish it, and you build a new house because something failed in the other house, so let's build a new house. And snap, you have 5 houses where you just build a little piece of things because of your concentration, because you need stimulation. Most of the time people really find you too blonde or outspoken. But again, that quality springs from Sagittarius to Sagittarius. You are a very honest person, so you really tell, you know, you bleep out, you say what you have in your heart, and you're very honest about it. You sometimes have the tendency to speak before you think. So, you know, maybe that's also why people sometimes feel like, So yeah, again, it's just sometimes it's hard for you to just finish up a long project. It's really hard for you. Like, yeah. So let's continue to Mercury in Sagittarius. Yes, it's a mix between Sagittarius and Aquarius. So Mercury in Sagittarius. Oh my god. So Mercury in Sagittarius in Aquarius. I really want to say Sagittarius. Oh, maybe I'm Sagittarius sun. So, god damn it. So Mercury in. I can't say it. I've been filming for too long. Aquarius. 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 I'm just gonna cut and don't do anything anymore. Quiet on the set. I can't take myself together right now. Oh my god. So Mercury in Aquarius really indicates a fine and clever mind. Someone who is very accurate and inventive. So as a native of this position, you take a great interest in other people, and you really have an excellent judgment of the humankind. Okay. Now for people in another video who wanted the cat to be in the video, this is the cat. She just really you're really making noise and annoys my you know, my filming time here. What video was that made? Oh, that was my vlog channel when I made I was filming the haunted objects, and I was, you know, showing the haunted object, and she don't like when I, you know, film those videos. She knows where the stuff is there. So this is the old cat. And she is half blind, and she is on, what do you call that, medicine and everything. She's just an oldie. She's just an oldie. Please let me film here. Thank you. Thank you, girl. Put yourself down and be quiet. What was I saying about you guys? So yeah, you have a really excellent judgment of your human nature. You really love to analyze character. You are actually able to predict how someone will react in a certain way. So that's really your power. It's just superhuman power. You are a notorious people watcher, in trains, buses, airports, restaurants. So you know, you observe people. You really, you know, I guess you can say that you maybe sometimes learn, you know, by, you know, really study people. Maybe you're a little creeper, tiny creeper. You have a very like a detached outlook of things. So you know, that's you have a good ability to help people in some situations, because you know you're not, you know, yeah, you can detach your emotions in certain situations. For detached also with the outcome, you know, which is actually a good thing if you want to manifest. Aquarius is the sign of truth seeker, which characterizes the way your mind works. Something you really enjoy is intellectual discussions about philosophy, metaphysics, and the future of mankind. So it's deep. But yeah, you're a water sign, so yes. Me being a Scorpio, I know. Yeah, I know. Chances are when you have Mercury in Aquarius that you have read the classic writings of the great thinkers of this world. You probably also love to dig into like the old times, like the medieval times, like the Baroque times, the Victorian times. You probably love to dig into all that. Being around castles and history and museums, staring at paintings, think deep about what did he think about when he painted that woman. You are especially suitable for work in progressive professions. So science, invention, the world of television, everything about it, everything with electricity. Sometimes you might seem a little eccentric for your ideas, because your ideas are advanced. And one thing is that you love to say things that shock people. You love to see their reaction. You love to shock people. Yep. then let's move on to Mercury in Pisces. So Pisces is the sign of psychic evolution, and Mercury in this sign actually gives you a supple and intuitive mind, which is amazing. So you know, you are a sign that close to Scorpio, so you know it makes sense that you also are a little bit more into the sensitive and the psychic side of life. There is an air of mystery about the way you think. You really don't logically arrive at conclusions. You seem to like get flashes of knowledge, or like, you know, certain feelings that are not really like based on previous facts or circumstances. Sometimes you will make a pronouncement, and then afterwards what you really say will turn out to be true. So like the intuitive side of you like kicks in actually sometimes, even that you think too much about it. So you are a very intuitive sign, which I love about Pisceans. So you really have accurate intuition. So use that. You really have to use that because it's accurate. You don't even have to think about it. You know, it is just like if someone comes ask you, okay, where did I put my keys? And you're like, oh, the table. So the green table. And you were like, oh my god, what did I just say? And the person finds the keys on the green table. That's you, Pisces. Mercury in Pisces. As a Mercury Piscean, you are very imaginative, and you are very creative. But you tend to lack self-confidence, which is one of the big things, Pisces. You lack self-confidence. So sometimes you might appear timed or confused. You really have a deep sympathy and understanding for failings of other people. So you really, you know, if someone comes to you with, oh, you know, this plan with moving to I don't know, to Paris didn't work out, you really, you know, you have sympathy, and you really, you know, you show understanding towards it. So you really, you know, you're really a healing person. Another thing is that, in your opinion, including a liar, has its own truth. You have such a sensitivity to your surroundings and your environment. You can simply not work or think straight if there's anything upsetting or like jarring around you. So one of the things with Mercury in Pisces, like, you know, you could be this really like professor, like you know, like you see in I don't know, Harry Potter. That, you know, that's you. So you can be a professor of any kind that you want. That would be one of the big successes for you. You have such a what do you call that? You know, such a big mind, such big knowledge, and you just, you know, like your intuition is just sharp. And that is all for today. This is just a little tiny 5 minutes to think about every sign, like in Mercury, what your abilities is, how you know, how your deep you is, how you think, how you feel, how people see you, and you know, all that success and work, what you can do. If you want me to do a more deep video about all the signs, let me know in a comment below. And of course, I have timestamped everything. You probably know that if you know, if you see the last sign. But again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video.